Well, good evening, everybody. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, and we're going to start with the closures here. And by the way, I know that this is not my usual setup, but with all the different things we have to show you, it's a lot easier to do it this way than in front of the green screen. So, first, I want to show you all of the closures that we have here, and a number of them. Man, I think it was Cedar Hill and Mansfield that closed first. Excuse me, or at least announced first, and then it just cascaded from there. The schools: Avalon, Burleson, Cedar Hill, Cleburne, DeSoto, Ennis, Faith Family Academy, Ferris, Grandview, Italy, Joshua, Lancaster, Mansfield, Maypearl, Midlothian, Milford, Ovilla Christian School, Palmer, Red Oak, Rio Vista, and Waxahachie. I feel like I should be singing that I've Been Everywhere Man song. So as far as the businesses, what we have is Baylor Scott and White Cardiac Pulmonary Rehab in Waxahachie, and closed tomorrow. Expedient Urgent Care, all the locations in Arlington, Mansfield, Midlothian, Grand Prairie, and Waxahachie, closed Thursday the 9th, and anticipate reopening on February 25th, Friday, January 10th, from 12 to 8. Emerald City Therapies is closed tomorrow, as well as Rocket Special Utility District. Now, the City of Ennis, City of Mansfield, City of Venus, I believe I saw the City of Waxahachie a moment ago. And then are all closed. Ellis and Johnson County offices are closed. And then the Heights of Ellis County closed. And then the other one that I haven't added there yet is Hope Health is closed tomorrow, both in Waxahachie and Ennis as well. So all set there. Let's see here. One second. All right, so all right, let's get moving over. Let's just go ahead and go over to the models here. So if we do have the link to the closures there in the chat box as well. So if you are wondering about that, let's go straight to the models here and just kind of show you where things stand. So in terms of changes, where things have changed, what led to all of a sudden going from, through the day yesterday and part of this morning, going, from not really looking like it was going to be very intense or interesting to all of a sudden tonight, everybody's closing tomorrow. So part of it, and I was at a Midlothian Chamber event earlier today and had several people asking me what we were looking at. And I was at the beginning of the event, I was telling them that models were trending more towards a closure, I've got closures on my mind. I can't get rid of that. Arrival of the precipitation somewhere around 8, 9 a.m., starting out, which was later than we had thought. I think we were starting to see that last night and then going from there, but we had been seeing that trend, and that was a move in the right direction because that would have improved the morning commute for tomorrow morning. Then, during the event, I was taking a peek at some models, and we were starting to trend earlier, starting to look at maybe 5 or 6 a.m. start time for that precipitation, which would be a very different deal. I was even talking to Ellis County Judge Todd Little about that and letting him know that, hey, things were starting to kind of move around. So it was good to have those conversations with some of those public stakeholders, some of those public leaders, and kind of be able to pick their brain about their thinking and kind of get involved in that process. So here's what the NAM model is showing for the precipitation tomorrow morning. Really the earliest here, you see that it kind of, this is 6 a.m. You can see some of it here. We move towards 9 a.m. and you can see some of the sleet already moving into our western areas. This will be southwest to northeast, but by noon, pretty good coverage of freezing rain and sleet. Same with 3 o'clock. Now, 3 o'clock will be the warmest part of the day. So we will, as we talked about yesterday, in the afternoon see more rain as opposed to, freezing rain, sleet, snow, that kind of thing. This is 6 o'clock. Now this is where I kind of question the NAM model, and I think we did this yesterday. Um, I don't know that the NAM model will really be that accurate in terms of mostly rain by 9 o'clock. Now, midnight, you see we're starting to transition back into snow by 9 o'clock, and by 3 a.m., or by midnight rather, 3 a.m., mostly snow across the area, but by 6 a.m., and certainly by 9 a.m., most of that pulling away. So, I think the NAM, my gut tells me that the NAM may not necessarily be accurate there. So Z Fighter, yeah, we have Ennis on the closure list. That link is posted there for you to see where we're at. So let's get into, and Kenzie, thank you so much for your Venmo donation there. Greatly appreciated. So let's move over to the HR model. And this is of course, let's see, 23Z is not done yet. So let's go to 22. So this is the HR model. This is the high resolution rapid refresh. This one refreshes every hour. So this is, the freshest information. This is also the one that your models, or your apps rather, when they're changing on a dime every hour, this is what they're looking at. So I think the HR model is a little bit more believable and seems to be kind of in line with a lot of what is going on in terms of the different moves that are being made. So this is 5 a.m. And you can see it's already starting to move into parts of Hill and Johnson counties. Then more area-wide coverage by 6 a.m. and then by 7 a.m. And you can see that we're already starting to get more of the frozen precipitation here. And don't get attached to where the green is and where. Don't be too attached to that, because a lot of that will be just kind of a mix tomorrow. Sleet certainly by 10 a.m. A lot of that kind of covering the area. This only goes through 10 a.m. So let's go back to the last extended run, the 18Z here. This is the same run as the NAM we just looked at. So again, you can see by 5 a.m. we're starting to get this moisture in our area. And if we push that forward here, by 6 a.m. getting some freezing rain, and then just continuing to cover throughout the day, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. But you notice that the frozen precipitation is much farther to the south and east than with the NAM model. This is 2 p.m. So again, we're going to see more green because we'll be warming up. But the National Weather Service now has been trending temperatures a little bit down today. That's the thing is, you have to understand that, 1 or 2 degrees can make a big difference here in terms of what we see. So if we get to 33, 34 degrees, then that will mean much more, liquid, as opposed to, where we're getting colder. And this is 6 p.m. So again, you can see that the number one, there's heavier precipitation here. And Wolfcrafts, I'm not able to zoom in quite so much on this one. So I apologize that you're not able to see it very well. We're covering the whole area at off, so it's hard to say one place or another, but this is the whole area. So you can see by 6 o'clock, it kind of just has everything mixed together. And I don't think it's going to be quite like this. It's interesting the way that it's kind of just putting streaks of sleet in the middle of all the rain. I think we will see more widespread sleet and, mix of sleet and freezing rain and snow by this point. And then by 8 p.m., you can see that this line, and if you want to give a freezing line, it's about there, is moving southward. And I want to note too, this is some heavier precipitation. I think that is one of the potential concerns here, is that the precipitation could be a little heavier maybe than expected. And overnight, Friday night into Thursday morning will be our best chance for ice. You notice all this sleet. And you notice that the heavier precipitation is kind of just hanging out. So we'll show you here in just a moment the ice accumulations. And then for all of the snow lovers here, you notice that blue, that is the snow, is starting to really move eastward and southward throughout the middle of the night, early morning hours. And there's quite a bit of it. I mean, there's a pretty good coverage of snow there. So I really think that the HR model may be onto something here. I have a feeling it just seems like it's acting more consistent with some of what we're seeing from the National Weather Service and that sort of thing. So I want to show, for one, the total snowfall. So for our area, we'll just go down to the end here. And this is through noon Friday. So you can see across Ellis and Johnson counties, most of Ellis and Johnson counties, 3 to 4 inches possible. And then down in Hill and Johnson counties, closer to 2 to 3 inches of snow. And I mean, if we compare that to, that's the 18Z, if we compare that to the 6Z run, maybe a little less for the Metroplex, a little less for us. It's shifting a little more north and east there, but even the 18Z model still has plenty of snow for our area. So, you know, I mean, it's possible to get anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow at this point. The ice, I want to show you something here. Let's see, what was I looking at earlier? So the ice accumulations per the HR, the high resolution rapid refresh, not looking too terrible for our particular area. Now, farther west, quite a bit more. And if we compare that to the 06 run, then there's more of that. So if anything, the more recent run of the HR is suggesting lower ice accumulations here. Let's look at the snowfall for the area snowfall, and pretty consistent here overall with the HR in terms of the NAM model, 3 to 4 inches of snow possible. And then from the Hill County and Navarro County area, again, 1 to 2 inches of snow. And then ice, the NAM model is very generous with the ice accumulations across the area, that 18Z run. So there are some differences here. And I think that the National Weather Service, honestly, is kind of trying to just cover their bases. And one of the, let's see, where's that graphic that they had? So ice impacts. This is an interesting graphic. It's a helpful graphic for sure. And so up to basically 0.15 of an inch from really most of our area, all the way from, you know, Hamilton there to Stephenville to Killeen, all the way up to Canton and Paris. So that's kind of the area where they're expecting the band of heavier rain to combine with those very cold temperatures and for ice to be a concern late Thursday into early Friday. All the schools close tomorrow, and I think the reason, and in fact, the Waxahachie ISD email covered this, is that they're basically expecting conditions to deteriorate through the day. So, and it's the National Weather Service is probably telling them it's going to deteriorate, but it's hard to say exactly what time, what's going to happen. So they probably weren't as comfortable with an early release as just, you know, closing. And I know some of the area schools like Cedar Hill, Mansfield were citing staff commuting and that kind of thing from outside of their area, that they were concerned about that too. So that is, you know, part of that calculus as well. But I will tell you, both the NAM and the HR model, those are both of the closer models, the short range, higher resolution models there. Both of those are fairly generous with the snowfall. So again, Ellis and Johnson County is looking at 2 to 3 inches, really 3 to 4 inches possible even, and then 1 to 2 inches of snow possible in Hill and Johnson counties there. Let me kind of get back over here. So, thank you, Jamie, for your Venmo donation. Thank you, Dana, for your Cash App donation. Thank you, Judy, for your Cash App donation. So, man, I got behind on those. Thank you, everyone, for sending those in. Those are greatly appreciated. And so Cheryl, we just covered Corsicana and Navarro. So again, ice accumulations of 1/10 to 1500ths of an inch, and then snow in terms of Hill and Navarro counties, looking at maybe an inch or two of snow for tomorrow. And it's entirely possible that we wake up tomorrow morning and already have snow on the ground. You know, it's going to be kind of one of those deals where we may be a little bit surprised by how it acts. And so much of this is going to be determined. This is why it's tough. So much of this is going to be determined by the temperature. And highs are expected to be in the low 30s, which means we could be right on the freezing line or right below it all day. We could be 33, 34 degrees, in which case everything's melting. So it's a tough call to make. And I think that's why the school's canceled, because we're going to be kind of in that rough spot. I do want to show you as well that we have the winter storm warning across the Metroplex and on east and north, and that does not include our area. So included in our area, or including our area rather, to say that better, is the winter weather advisory. This is saying snow and sleet accumulations up to 2 inches. I would submit again, can't say no to maybe 3 inches there. And then ice accumulations around 1/10 of an inch, could be 1500. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of the expectations and the alerts that we have in place. Again, the purple that's covering our area, that is the winter weather advisory. That replaced the winter storm watch, or the winter weather watch, I guess, that we had across our area. So that's where that stands. The pink is the winter storm warning, doesn't include our area. The purple is the winter storm watch, winter weather advisory that covers our area. So that is where we stand there. So Jessica, you're asking, when does the rain, wintry weather start? Overnight, early AM Thursday. So yeah, it'll be early tomorrow morning. I don't really expect much overnight tonight. We've had a couple of cases where we've had moisture move in very high up in the atmosphere. And last night I had a report or two of some weird kind of drizzly stuff falling. And then today I had a report of some little sleet type stuff kind of falling on the trucks of somebody. And so that may be an indication that, the moisture is starting to break through the dry air, but the vast majority of all of it will indeed be starting about probably 5, 6 in the morning tomorrow morning. And that, again, that is earlier than we thought. And as I was, again, talking to a city council member and the mayor of Midlothian and the county judge today at this meeting, that kind of changes your calculus, right? Because that means that if we do stay below freezing tomorrow and we were not able to melt too much of this, then we're getting a head start on those deteriorating conditions, especially as we get into Thursday night and early Friday morning. And Jessica, yes, it will be pretty much an all-day deal. I can't tell you if it's going to be consistently raining all day long or if it's going to be a kind of off and on deal. It's very possible, I think, that we could see this in waves. We can have periods of dry weather in between, but I think for the most part, it will probably be most of the day tomorrow that we have this rain coming down. And just to release some closures that are just coming in, I know that there's a couple of things in the comments there, but as far as the actual emails, Ellis County Pest Services will be closed tomorrow, Thursday, January 9th, and then the UPS store in Red Oak closed January 9th as well. So just those are just a couple that came in. We'll go back to this list. Here is the schools list here. I know that that's the highest priority for everybody, and I know that there may be some places that are closed, and I haven't gotten those yet. And I think I've seen just about every closer at least 3 or 4 times, as far as all the comments and messages and things. So we're in a good spot. We're well informed here. We will continue to update that website as we go. As we continue on, it's the link is in the chat there. It's well, I thought I had Venus ISD in there. I guess not. I'll get Venus ISD up there. I had the city of Venus, but not Venus ISD. So yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that uploaded there. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you, Matt. There's that link to the closures website. So let me go ahead while I'm over on another screen here. Let me go ahead and add Venus ISD because I was so sure that I had done that already. And I thought I'd done Alvarado too. Just get those two added here. You know, I was thinking, and it's crazy. I was thinking that we would have a early release tomorrow, and then a delayed start on Friday. But they went ahead and just closed all together there. So pretty wild. It was pretty wild to see that kind of come through. All right, so here's that updated list. So yeah, Alvarado ISD and Venus ISD both added in. And Jessica, you said, okay, your husband saw me at the luncheon today. Cool. The guy in the gray jacket that gave a speech. Yeah. So great event by the Midlothian Chamber. It was good to connect with everybody. So pretty quick update today. I mean, not a whole lot to discuss. I mean, we're going to start probably just before sunrise tomorrow. So, 5, 6 a.m., that moisture starts moving in from the southwest. And we'll continue really most of the day, moving through into the daytime hours, and a lot of it will depend on if we can get above freezing and how long we're above freezing. If we're not above freezing very long, then it may not, do much at all. Alejandro, just make sure. I mean, yeah, there's not as many city closures on there, but that may just mean that I don't have them all. So don't take my list as complete and exhaustive. There may be more city governments that are closing that I just haven't been able to put on that list yet. And this is going on. There's such a focus on the schools that the city government announcements usually kind of take a back seat. And thank you to Melissa for your Venmo donation. Greatly appreciated there. So this whole event is pretty well right in line with kind of what we expected over the last 24 hours. We did get that earlier start yesterday, or tomorrow morning rather. And then we continue to think that the greatest ice accumulations and the greatest snow accumulations will occur overnight tomorrow night into Friday morning. There is a chance on Friday we will be able to get more above freezing, higher above freezing. And so that will help us to melt most of this and kind of thaw out. But any of this that is not melted, well, that's melted but not evaporated on Friday, will refreeze Friday night into Saturday morning. So Saturday morning, there may still be some travel issues. Mike, idea of the time surface roads will freeze tomorrow night. I really don't know. I don't have anything that specific. It's hard to say because again, it depends on how quickly we cool down. The other thing too is that across our 4 county area, there are going to be some places that cool down a lot faster than others. So those low-lying areas where the those little valleys where the cool air kind of settles will cool more quickly and get colder than say up on a hill and in those urban areas too. So that's, it's hard to say. Different parts of our area will freeze more efficiently. What do you expect 35 towards Waco to be like? It could be dicey, especially if we're looking at again, Thursday night into Friday morning. I-35 could definitely be a bit of a mess tomorrow morning. Jessica Lee Rodriguez, you saw the county courthouse is closed. Yeah, so county offices tomorrow are closed, jury duties canceled, all that good stuff. So if you're supposed to be doing jury duty tomorrow, just like Jessica says, you're off the hook. So you don't have to do that tomorrow. It was definitely interesting to see all these closures coming in today. And I wasn't sure that there was going to be any full day closures, but I think as they talked to the National Weather Service, was giving out those higher ice accumulation estimates, and the earlier start with the precipitation tomorrow was allowing for more issues. So yeah, we're looking at that evolving system, and it's like I was telling people today, when you have that evolving system going on, that it can get closer. Those big changes start happening closer to game time. You start taking them a lot more seriously, and so I'm very curious to see what it looks like early tomorrow morning. I will be up early tomorrow morning, and I'm not particularly looking forward to that, but I will be working on all of those updates ahead of that point and making sure to cover that, of course. We'll have more data come in tonight through the 7 and 8 o'clock hours. We'll see more data come in. We'll compare that, post updates from there. So this is going to be a late night, early morning deal. So we will, of course, be giving you all those updates. And there's still things that we don't know. We're this close, but there's still things we don't quite know. It's how warm will we get tomorrow? How many of us will get above freezing? How long will they stay above freezing? And how will that impact not only daytime travel impacts, but nighttime travel impacts? Even if we don't have a lot of ice on the roads during the day tomorrow, it will still be a wet, yucky, cold mess out there. So visibility will probably be limited, especially if there's snow mixed in with the sleet and rain. It's just going to be awful out there. So if you don't have to be out and about, don't be. It's tomorrow is definitely going to be one of those days that if you can stay home, it's great to do that, because it's going to just be a yucky, gross day. And I know that people are tired of hearing all of the updates and all the changes and, well, what is it now, and all these kind of things. But the good news is we're getting closer to it, so we're able to get a little bit of a closer view of what to expect overall. And it looks like we're getting an earlier start. So the drive tomorrow, I would say tomorrow morning, I'm more concerned about bridges and overpasses, where some of that precipitation will have a better opportunity to stick quickly before we start warming up. And if we can get above freezing tomorrow, that both helps and hurts. It helps because that gives us maybe a window where we don't have to worry about ice on the roads, but it could hurt because it's going to melt whatever frozen precipitation we might have gotten that morning, spread that out a little more so that when it refreezes, it covers more area. So, it's a give and take in terms of what to expect tomorrow. SouthMetroWeather.com/closures. to get the latest closures that we have. If you want to submit a closure, send an email to kevin@southmetroweather.com, and that will be the easiest way for me to track those. People are commenting different places and messaging different places. It's easier to keep up with it when it's in an email. So definitely do that. I am, unfortunately, I'm already tired, and we really haven't even gotten started yet. So you can see behind me here, I've got the satellite on the TV here. The moisture's making its way in, and it will be moving in early tomorrow morning. I think 5, 6 o'clock. We'll see it at least west of I-35W, if not moving into our area. Sometimes that start time is a little tough. It's a little arbitrary. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. It's a quicker update. I mean, there's really not much change from what we're expecting. It's going to be a wintry mix throughout the day. Probably more rain as we get through the afternoon because we'll be closer to freezing, or at least maybe above freezing. And then tomorrow night we start dropping. We get colder. We drop down. I think we will drop down to at least 30 degrees. May some of us be in the 20s before we have more frozen precipitation, more frozen services early Friday morning, probably more snow accumulation early Friday morning as well. And everything hopefully moves out by Friday at noon. That's kind of the expectation right now. So I'll continue to check the latest updates. We'll have more data after about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. We'll see if there's any changes there. But be ready for just a gross, wintry, mixy day tomorrow on Thursday. And then for the snow fans, the snow will come probably while we're sleeping Thursday night into Friday morning. And then Friday morning, we can have quite a few traffic issues throughout the area. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for those that gave to the Cash App and Venmo. Those links are there if you want to get in on that as well. And I will see you with more updates. If we have any big updates later tonight, I'll jump on and we'll do that. But otherwise, I will be live tomorrow.